What up, people? Pushing Wild Black here, and we are Pushing Wild Black here with Pushing Wild Black Sports. There we go. And I'm here with my homie Anthony Joslin.
What up, y'all?
And we're gonna do the NBA preview. And the season seems to get earlier and earlier every year. It used to be in November, and now it's Tuesday. It's not even around Halloween.
Well, you know what, bro? When what's the name, kind of indicated to the press that they needed more rest days.
Yeah.
Silver just went with that. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. LeBron did that.
You're gonna get a lot of LeBron disdain throughout the season. Okay, so this is how this is gonna go. In addition to those of you that follow my page or follow me, Pushing Wild Black, aka Christian Dean, y'all know that this YouTube channel is gonna be a disability rights thing, but also I'm a sports fan. You guys have heard me do stuff with Anthony and do stuff as far as sports last year when I was experimenting with this. So this is going to be, we're not experimenting anymore. We're going to do kind of a national take on marquee games. We're going to try to do as many games as we can. But first, we got to do the NBA preview, and we got to get exactly what we got to give you guys our takes about the season. There were some major trades during the offseason. There was a major free agent signing during the offseason. So, without further ado, the NBA preview for 2016-2017. Let's go. And what's up, man?
Well, I just like to say that I don't think that it's a given that it's going to be Cleveland and the Warriors. I think Cleveland gonna have a hard time getting out of the East. I don't think the Warriors are just gonna run roughshod over everybody.
You mean Cleveland over everybody?
No, I'm sorry, correction. Golden State over everybody.
Okay.
But I do think they're gonna demolish the Clippers.
You hate the Clippers, don't you?
No. I don't hate the Clippers. I hate certain players on the Clippers.
I just don't think they're real. I never do.
I don't hate the Clippers at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're not constituted in the correct way to beat the teams that they're gonna have to beat.
Right.
Now I'm gonna tell you something. Jamal Crawford is my dude.
Yeah, he is. He's the truth, man.
I wish that he could have went to OKC, because if he had went to OKC, I firmly believe this. I firmly believe KD would still be there, and I firmly believe that they would have a chance.
You firmly believe they have a championship?
Yeah. Because what OKC lacked is what he brought to the table. He's a finisher. You know what I mean? He's like if I could equate it to a baseball analogy, he's Mariano Rivera in basketball form.
So he's a closer.
He's a closer. He's gonna close that thing down. He's gonna get his numbers all the time, and he's not a diva about it. He's just a dude that likes to ball out, and I've liked him every place that he's went.
Yeah, he was when he was with Chicago. It was like he was young. There was growing pains. He could score his butt off, but I think when he went to New York, when he left Chicago, it was more of a that was when you really got to see who he was as a player, and he was just like a professional. And I've always liked him, and he was always, really good with the press, and he wasn't really a problem with people. It was just he was constant, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
Bro, what do you cuz I didn't really I mean, we spoke about this in other in other videos, man. But now that this is specifically strictly basketball, what do you think about the whole Golden State thing?
I mean, I think they got that missing piece. They got the piece that they needed, and if they had a piece of this of similar caliber, they would have, they would have probably won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So all that being said, because they lost all their scoring, and they lost a good portion of their defense. Now I saw one game, and then I can't stay up for the West Coast games because of scheduling issues. So
We still
um,
have we still have 9 to 5s, ladies and gentlemen. My goal
right,
with these,
well, or 5 to 6 or five in my case,
right?
and I just can't stay up for the late West Coast games. But I did happen to catch part of one, and they seemed a little bit more defensively sound. And you know where I think that comes from? I think it just comes from the fact that they know that they can outscore people. If they even play marginal defense, a lot of teams gonna go home with hurt feelings.
Yeah.
So, all that with everything being said, it is what it is. And I think it's good for both parties. I think it was a good trade for Golden State. I think it was a good trade for good move for KD.
And you're gonna see OKC. You're gonna, cause that wasn't a trade, but OKC
It was a free agent signing. My apologies.
yeah. But what I was gonna mention was OKC did a draft day trade, which I actually like, because Serge Ibaka wasn't gonna be there, so he was leaving anyway. So for them to get the young players that they did, and for them to draft Arvydas Sabonis' kid, that's actually, they have a good base in the middle of players. The only thing is they have Oladipo. I don't know how Oladipo and Russ are gonna play together. I don't know how, because they're the same type of player. Oladipo isn't really that energetic as Russell is, but they're both little dudes that can jump out the gym.
Well, let me tell you this. Oladipo is a dude that can jump out of the gym, and he's a little bit bigger, like across the shoulders than Russ. All they're going to do is play live that thing to the top. I go up and get it. That's all they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, Russ is gonna go for 40 every night. He's gonna go for 40, 10, and 10 every day.
And that's what he always wanted.
Right. So he's gonna be the man. Then, I always thought he was gonna end up being a Laker. Him and DeMar DeRozan was gonna go to the Lakers and dominate, and then DeRozan decides to sign for Toronto and kind of be like that dude in Toronto. So respect to that. So I don't know if Russ is gonna stay there after this season or he's gonna move around. I don't know.
I think he's going to LA too, because he can get a nice 40 in LA County.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He can get that same 40 in LA County, and his whole family is from there. So I think he's gone, but
And then if you know he's leaving, see, here's the deal, and this is what I have. Let me formulate this thought. Katie, how I've always said the NBA players are independent contractors. You know what I'm saying? I believe that they should be able to do whatever they do because they're employees. They're not they're not enholden to one particular team that drafted them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm one of the few people that thinks what KD did was genius because him and Russell Westbrook are friends. The dynamic on the court has always had question marks. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think the last time me and you spoke about this, uh, everybody bonded over Bible study during the World Championships.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So he saw the way he wanted to play. They don't really have a dude that'll Golden State doesn't really have a closer. I honestly think with the way KD can shoot anywhere and he's unassuming, I honestly think he's going to end up being the closer anyway, which is something they desperately need in Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what he did was genius. I also think OKC kind of knew what was happening. And
Apparently not.
apparently not. For
Because to be honest,
mm-hmm.
if you know what's happening, do a blockbuster trade before you get up out of there.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say with Westbrook. Understand what's about to happen. Talk to him, see if he's willing to stay, but understand what's about to happen. And if he decides to go, get it. See if you to Los Angeles, not the Clippers, because I don't think they have young talent on the Clippers. I just think there's a bunch of NBA old guys just trying to figure their way into the Western Conference Finals so they can get beat up. But if he goes to the Lakers, OKC, pay attention and get some young value for him because the Lakers have young talent that they kind of don't know what to do with yet. And we're going to see how Luke Walton runs Steve Kerr's system or what he decides to run as the Laker coach. We're going to see how that goes. But the Lakers have a lot of young talent that OKC, if Russell Westbrook decides to leave, you go get.
Right.
So
And
what I don't want to go ahead.
They'll probably do an even Steven trade for that dude that they got out of Ohio State to OKC for Russell Westbrook. But they were totally surprised that what's the name left because he had been so loyal in fact years before.
Mm-hmm.
Signing secret deals and not releasing it to the public. So it was a lot going on. But I just think that they didn't know, bro. Because if you knew, you handled it totally different. But as it stands, we have to just move on to this season. I think because everything looks this way on paper, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be that way on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this: elements of the Knicks look really good without me seeing Derrick Rose.
Yeah. The Knicks were fine. Let's look at the stats. The Knicks were rough, but they had Porzingis as a problem. I think with I think them trying to force the triangle on that team was a bad idea. I think what Jeff Hornacek does, what he did in Phoenix, if Phil Jackson would just let him do what he does, I think they'll be fine as far as they might make the playoffs. The wild card is Derrick Rose. If Derrick Rose stays healthy, then they're going to be a problem.
And on a personal note, I just wanted to say something to Coach Phil Jackson, or GM Phil Jackson, and Hornacek too. Good big ups for signing a couple of my shockers over the years. Clean Anthony Early, Torrey Morey, and Ron Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Good shocker products there. that's a side note. Let's keep going. Um, in a second, we're gonna pick who we think is gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals and who's gonna be in the Western Conference Finals.
And who are going to be the surprise teams of the season.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm really I'm really I think New York is going to be fine. I think if Rose stays healthy, everything's going to be fine with them. I don't know if they'll make it to they might make the East if everybody's healthy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm I'm feeling I'm feeling basically New York is going to do fine. I think the Bulls, as a Bulls fan, I don't know what the Bulls are going to do. I don't know what they're doing. Like, from when they traded Rose, originally the idea was because they didn't get much for him, so they traded Rose, and they got draft picks. They got Robin Lopez, which I actually like. Jerian Grant is actually, from what I've seen of Bulls preseason, Jerian Grant is actually okay and can actually do some things. But then again, it's preseason. The free agent signings are what is confusing to me, because I understand now after listening to a couple of experts over the summer. I understand what they want to do, what as an organization the Bulls want to do. The Bulls want to be competitive. Like, they don't want to be they don't want to be like really really bad and get a couple.
But they don't want to be world beaters either.
Well, here's the thing: they want to be competitive and make the playoffs every year and win, and by them drafting Wade and by him being a hometown kid or by him being a hometown guy, people are going to come. And then Rajon Rondo, it really isn't known as a scorer. So if he does the point guard duties, then it balances everything out. Because what I saw last year, especially towards the end, which is why, they didn't make the playoffs. Fred Hoiberg wants to run a motion-style offense, which means you have to pass the ball a lot. Everything has to be in motion a lot, right?
Yeah, a lot of movement off the ball.
He doesn't. With Jimmy Butler, with Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler, that really didn't happen a lot. They were kind of waiting to see. They were kind of waiting to see. Okay, what is it? What is the other one going to do? And then toward the end, because Derrick Rose didn't play toward the end of the season, it was becoming apparent that Jimmy wanted to put on his best James Harden impression, and he was gonna try to go for 40 and get like 7 assists and 7 rebounds a game. And the one time, and I think I was at your house when I saw this, Jimmy went for 50 against Philadelphia, and it was very painful to watch because offensively, although he's better, he's not a fluid offensive player still.
A lot of shots taken.
Yeah, he's a volume shooter. So to me, that looked very, very painful to watch. With D Wade, he has questionable knees, to be nice. So if he stays healthy and the offense really runs through Rondo, Jimmy, to the point that Rondo makes sure everybody's running the offense correctly, and Wade, if that's the big three, I don't know if that's going to beat Cleveland, but they should make the playoffs this year. The problem that I have with this is that the Bulls were when you trade a guy like Derrick Rose for picks, the Bulls were supposed to go young, and they were supposed to develop. They were supposed to build a team around Jimmy Butler if that's their guy. If that's their guy, figure out what Jimmy Butler's good at and build the team around him. And try to figure out what you got in Fred Hoiberg, which I don't think another issue, Jimmy and Fred really didn't get along last season, and they kept Fred Hoiberg. I really thought quite honestly, I really thought Jimmy was gone to Minnesota draft night because that was what the rumors were. That didn't happen. There was a really good he was on like there was a really good trade proposal to Minnesota to get the number 5 pick. Boston had a bunch of picks that they didn't know what to do with, and they were really trying hard to get Jimmy Butler, and
Right.
apparently from what I know, they messed that up themselves. Jimmy, like, the Minnesota thing really wasn't a deal. Tibbs wanted him. That really wasn't a thing. The Boston thing, from what I've heard, that was more of a legitimate. That was more of a legitimate opportunity. Boston got really, really stupid with what they were asking for, so Jimmy's not a Celtic. So with the Bulls, I think they should make the playoffs. They should be a top 4 seed in the playoffs. I don't know what that means as far as beating Cleveland, and I sure don't know what that means as far as beating anybody coming out of the West. We'll get to that in a second, but I think they'll be fine. That's not gonna be my team to watch for because, and I don't know what they're doing trading for Michael Carter Williams. I like the trade because he's talented as heck, but I don't know what this means for this season. Meaning, Michael Carter Williams is a gigantic point guard. He's really not known as a good shooter. He's not known as a scorer. He's known as a distributor. But with Rondo being the distributor, I don't really know what he's going to do. Is he coming off the bench? Is this something for... Cause,
Okay, can I give you a little tidbit on this guy?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, you know I watch college, too.
Yeah.
I watch college basketball, and we just haven't figured out what type of space we're going to put the college podcast in, but I'm really a basketball head by nature. That's my sport.
And that's why I'm talking NBA with you now.
Right. So, basketball as a whole, knowing him from college, I mean, he was a scoring point guard, but they also had another point guard that would put in and shift Carter Williams to the 2.
Yeah.
And he did really well. So what I'm trying to tell you is it can work with Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where I'm concerned is the fact that Rondo is such a curmudgeon.
Yes.
You know what I
mean? and that's
that we don't know how he's going to show up to work. You know what I mean?
And we don't know if he's going to stay past the whole season, because in Dallas, he didn't make it.
Right.
And it wasn't on injury level. It was just they didn't get along.
On the court, I think that it definitely can work because Carter Williams did a good job, being in the 2 spot. I don't remember the point guard that they had coming in to take him off the ball, but just from my college history and knowing him, he did really well.
Right.
But he also did really well scoring with the ball in his hands. So, with that being said, I think it can work out.
His NBA game, it was a tale of 2 games. I mean, I'm glad you brought up the point guard, 2-guard dynamic of his, like that combo guard, because in Philly, when he won Rookie of the Year, he was that scoring point guard. In Milwaukee, he was more of point guard. He really wasn't a scorer. He was more of a setup man for everybody. See that? Then this is why, because you have you have a true point guard in Rondo, you have a combo guard in D Wade, and you have a combo guard or someone who wants to be a combo guard in Jimmy Butler. And all of them are painfully inconsistent shooters. And then you bring in Michael Carter Williams, who is basically the same guy, painfully inconsistent shooter. When he's asked to score. When he's not asked to score, it's fine. but I just don't really know what they want to do here. I'm honestly, from what I've seen in the preseason, their second unit, and maybe Michael Carter Williams is going to be like a good six man for them, but their second unit is good from what I've seen in the preseason. So again, they're not my team to watch. They're not my team to watch, but we'll get into that for a second. But bro, so let's go with the team to watch first before we go into
you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
My team to watch, and let me preface this segment from my end. My team to watch is not a team that I'm not necessarily saying they're gonna make it to the Western Conference Finals. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this team is gonna really have a great year. I'm thinking
this could be. Let's set up the parameters. They're a team that's probably gonna make the playoffs. They're a team that might not have made the playoffs last year, and I'm setting these parameters with the idea that I'm not putting Chicago in that category for me. And this team might not necessarily be in the Western Conference Finals, but they may do some damage.
They might not be in the finals of their conference because we're going to do one East and one West.
Yeah.
Okay. My Eastern Conference team are the Boston Celtics.
Good pick. Why is that?
Now, I'm telling you this for several reasons. I really have a weird obsession with Isaiah Thomas. I like him as a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like his whole demeanor. I like, the fact of the matter that they were saying if you put anybody with him, they'll flourish.
Yeah.
And, here's the critical key. Brad Stevens is one of my favorite coaches. I think he can get 20 and 10 out of a dish rag.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I'm picking Boston as my team to watch in the East. And why don't you go with your Eastern pick, and then we'll come back and do the West.
My Eastern pick is the Knicks.
Okay.
I mean,
that was very close. We do not do very much pre-production when we do a podcast ever because we want it to seem really organic, like two dudes that are knowledgeable about whatever topic we're talking about, but we wanted to have it almost be off the cuff, stream of consciousness. So I almost picked the Knicks.
Yeah, if everybody stays healthy and Jeff Hornacek runs what he wants to run, it was dangerously close between the Knicks and the Bucks because I love the Bucks' length. I just don't know what.
Wait. The Bucks are a team that I love, but I think their strongest player is also the team's weakness.
Explain, because I think I know where you're going.
I think they're going to depend too much on the Greek Freak on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, and he's not.
And I don't think, although he's still growing, which is weird, because he's like 23 years old, and they say he's still growing.
And how tall is that kid? Because I want to bring up a point here, which...
Right now, as of today, he's 7'1".
Bro, they're putting him as a point guard, man. I don't know what they're doing.
Bro, listen. Let me tell you about basketball now.
Okay.
You put your players to where they'll have the greatest advantage on the court.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, he's a jumper away from being all world.
Okay.
So everything else that he can do. I mean, he dribbles nice. He's if this was baseball, by the way, big up to your Cubs making the World Series.
Cubbies.
Somebody send them tickets, because there's no guarantees. They might not make it back till he's 94. I want my homie to see the World Series. He deserves that.
Oh, man. All right, bro.
Now,
Thank you very much.
if you were to equate the Greek Freak to a baseball player, he's a 5'2" player, bro.
Okay.
He just has to get the mental game together. And he's so young, and he really hasn't been playing basketball that long. He's not like an AAU kid. You know what I mean?
Right. He's really, really raw. And even though he played professionally, he didn't really play much overseas professionally. So,
right.
Yeah, man.
They were my second pick, and I really like the Milwaukee Bucks.
I love Milwaukee, man. They were my pick last season to be the team to watch for. But Jabari Parker got hurt. They really didn't know what to do with in the point guard situation. They're defensively, their length is crazy. Like they have a bunch of really tall dudes with big wingspans, and it's hard to it's gonna be hard to stop that defense. Once they figure out how to defend well, Milwaukee's gonna be a problem. But I can't. And then when they traded Tony Snell, I don't know. I mean, I like Tony Snell.
I think that is gonna be a genius move, because what it will enable is Tony Snell to go as hard as he possibly can. And I didn't think that he could do that in Chicago.
He couldn't. Partially because he's not really. See, he'll fit better there because he's an athlete. And he can defend a little bit, which I like the move from a defensive standpoint. Offensively, they were asking him to be a jump shooter, and that's not what he is. So I think with those group of guys, I don't necessarily know where his place would be, but I think he might end up turning into something in Milwaukee. I just don't know what.
You know what? I just want to see how he does with him defensively, because he did a good job in spot duty with Chicago on the defensive end to me.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean,
and when Tibbs was there, that was the only way he can get on the court, is defense.
Right. So, with that being said, so the Knicks are your team to watch. The Boston Celtics are my team to watch. You want to go to the West Coast now?
Yep.
Go ahead. You do your West Coast team first.
Minnesota Timberwolves. They will make the playoffs, okay. And they will scare some people.
Okay, now listen. This is the one time that we're actually gonna agree, because my only team to watch after them would be the perennial favorite, the Golden State
Warriors, right?
So, okay, we're gonna split this up. He's gonna talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves on the defensive end, and I'm gonna talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves on the offensive end.
Perfect, because I know what Tibbs is gonna do. You got a bunch of young guys that everybody's young. There's not a lot of old veterans there. You know what I'm saying? And basically, Tibbs is gonna go 100 miles an hour. They're gonna coach 100 miles an hour, and as long as you got one person that falls into what Tibbs believes in defensively, they're gonna frustrate people. There's gonna be a lot of their bench is gonna be strong because Tibbs always had a good bench, and they're on the ball, and their help defense is gonna be better. And by them having a bunch of young athletes running around, you're going to get tired playing them.
Right.
Okay, offense.
Now, offensively, I I'm just gonna guess that Tibbs is gonna have an offensive coordinator to basically harness these young guys' potential. And I think they're gonna go to a motion offense where you can run a lot of back cutting stuff. It's gonna be a lot of plays set up to use their athleticism. And then when you think about the young post player,
Towns.
Towns.
Anthony Towns.
Yeah. He's becoming a better passer, which is going to make the offense flow. I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people, and I think on a night-to-night basis, it's going to be people that are not going to want to come in to Minnesota and play.
It's going to be if they don't make the playoffs, it's because of injury.
Right.
Because Tibbs is, and dude, not only is Tibbs going to be the coach, but he's the GM too. They basically handed him the keys to the franchise and say, build a champion now.
Okay.
Like, dude, this is gonna be a problem. That was, quite honestly, that was my landing spot for Noah before the trade happened. You know,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is another reason why I think, now people don't understand, going back to the East for like 5 seconds, was another reason why I think the Knicks are gonna be fine, because Noah, even though he's coming back from injury, he's basically playing on one leg. Him and Derek really get along. He's still kind of a defensive threat, you know, and his intelligence is really, really, his basketball IQ, and believe me, when he got in the league, I was like, it was weird because he didn't take it seriously at first, but now it's a problem. He's really, really, you know, defensively sound mentally. So I honestly thought I was like, Noah's gonna go. I was like, Noah's gonna go to Minnesota, and it's gonna be, and he's gonna help Kevin Garnett. Although Kevin Garnett retired now, I honestly thought it was gonna be him and Kevin Garnett teaching the young buck how to be a professional. And Tibbs is just gonna be like, okay, guys, defend.
Right.
You know.
And I think your guy out of Kansas is gonna become the better wing defender, Andrew Wiggins. And I think it's gonna be a lot of steals. There's gonna be a lot of mentally retarded dunks. It's gonna be a lot of short bus dunks this season, because people are not gonna want to run back. Fall back and get dunked on.
Zach LaVine.
Right, I'm not even mentioning Zach LaVine because this is what I saw. Did you see the YouTube video of the dude trying to complete the reverse 360?
No, I missed that, man.
Mike. And this is what the youngster forgot. You know what the youngster forgot?
What did he forget?
In the dunk contest, they use like a woman-sized ball. They don't use a regulation game ball.
Didn't know that.
Didn't know that, see? So if he had used a woman-sized ball, he would have did it.
He used the man-sized ball.
Right. But they said what throws him off is, you know, your mind vectors as you spin.
Right.
So his mind hadn't gotten used to the spin, because your mind is set up to go the other direction.
Yeah.
So with him going the opposite direction, he almost hit his head like twice. But anyway, if you want to see something just mind-boggling, Google Andrew Wiggins trying to do a 360.
They're gonna be so much fun. They're gonna
Right.
be so much fun to watch.
And you know what? The NBA needs to give us dimes, because I'm about to plug the greatest thing since sliced bread. I could have said the greatest thing since something else, but this is a family show.
Right, right. We try to get sponsors,
The
dude.
greatest thing ever created since sliced bread, NBA League Pass.
Yes, sir.
My homie is about to get it. I have it. If you are a true basketball head, you need to have it. Because, you know, and we're going to try to attend a couple games in our area this year.
Mavericks.
But you know, let's be honest. This is the way to get that basketball fix every night. And, you know, the NBA, it's always been fantastic to us. So, you know, NBA sponsor our show.
I'm trying to get, we trying to get it to where, cause Ant's my co-host. He's actually dual recording for his thing. So this is kind of like a dual recording. But yeah, we're trying to get it to where we can actually pay each other, or we can actually get money off of this one.
I mean that's not a big deal. I would talk about basketball with anybody, but hey man, it's just, if you a basketball fiend,
go get League Pass.
What's name is the Crack Rock?
But yeah, man,
No,
like I'm really.
You got multiple game watch. You got so many different features.
And this,
you know,
going back to, you know, Minnesota. You know what's gonna be the sad thing about the T-Wolves? No one's gonna, unless they're basketball heads like us, no one's gonna pay attention to the Timberwolves nationally until about halfway through the season, and then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the Timberwolves." We're telling you first. The Timberwolves are not only going to crack the playoffs in that tough Western Conference, but they're going to scare people. And I'm telling you, because I'm basing this off of, because I'm looking at last year's conference standings. If the Houston Rockets finished 8th last year with a record of 41-41, right?
Right.
If the rest of the Western Conference stays the same, and you put the Minnesota Timberwolves on the 8th spot, I guarantee you, anywhere in the bottom 4 other than the 8th, because if the Golden State Warriors ends up going against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they might force 6 games on them, but I don't think they'll beat them just because of the firepower.
To be honest, I think the Houston Rockets don't have enough. I think they're going to give up the 8th spot. And I see the Minnesota Timberwolves coming in at that 7th spot.
And dude, based off of last year's standings, if everything matches up like it did last year, if they make the playoffs, they can beat anybody in the top 8 or in the top 7. If they hit that 7th seed, they can beat San Antonio. We don't know how Oklahoma City is going to be. They might make the playoffs, but we don't know. Los Angeles Clippers. I don't think Los Angeles Clippers are real at all. I don't think. I think I like Damian Lillard, but that's about it. You know.
Okay, can I interject one little piece?
Go ahead, bro.
This is slightly NBA related, but Dame Dollar has come out with an EP called The Letter O. And as you guys know, he is from Oakland. He is one of the top MCs doing rap right now. The EP is number 3 on the iTunes charts. It's very soulful. If you are into music and you like basketball, I say pick it up. Now, can we move on to our Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
This
So
is going
who do you have coming out the West in the Western Conference Finals?
it's gonna sound crazy. My Western Conference Finals picks are going to be dun, 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 the Golden State Warriors
Okay.
and the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
With a possibility of Portland making it a little bit farther than what I thought.
So Portland's gonna be Portland's gonna be that kind of wild horse that's that was in the playoffs last year, but might go a little further.
Yeah. Who you got, bro?
Golden State and San Antonio, with Minnesota kind of shocking the world.
You think the young boys gonna do it like that?
I think Tibbs is a fucking genius. And I just swore there, and I'm sorry, but I just think he's a genius. And
you think Chicago made a mistake, huh?
Yeah, I thought Chicago made a mistake, and I think when Tibbs got fired, me and you did a show last year. I don't like Fred Hoiberg as a coach. Never did. Didn't like him as a coach in college.
Yeah, I think he was overrated as far as his coaching style.
Well, what happened was he was a guy that got a bunch of dudes that other colleges either didn't want. He got JUCO kids. He got guys that couldn't.
No, let me tell you what he got. He got the rare breed of, high school McDonald's All-Americans that wanted to stay in college for 4 years. That's what he got.
And he got JUCO kids.
Right.
Because he got JUCO kids.
Because George and Yang and the guard that they had, they were both McDonald's All-Americans, but they were so, what's the word? Not mediocre, because
they were. That's the thing. Because not all the McDonald's All-Americans that you're gonna see are gonna be like, standout first round draft picks. There are some All-Americans that are kind of like, they're All-Americans got second team.
Now that I think about it, I understand what you mean.
Mm-hmm. That he got a bunch of guys, and credit to him for knowing, because it's Ames, Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Iowa, man. Like not the big time guys are not gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even like that's a mid-major school, but it's not like, okay, like Wichita State, man. That's a mid-major school where you're basically like, that's your conference. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're gonna be on TV. You're gonna be like, you're gonna make it in the tournament, and they're gonna give you a decent seed in the tournament. Ohio, the last year he coached Iowa State, they almost got beat by Northeastern.
Okay.
They got handled by Northeastern and a bunch of 6'8", like 2'6'8" centers. Right. They won, but in the first round, they almost got knocked out the first round by Northeastern with 2'6'8", 6'9" centers. Like, I don't. And then when he got to the Bulls, nobody ran his offense because nobody ran his offense. They just plugged him in, and they plugged him in. They didn't, like, how they were trying. Because everybody was like, okay, if you're gonna plug him in and if he's gonna run the stuff that he runs, he needs to be he needs to have a young offense or a young team. You got a bunch of old legs, and again, which is why I say the bench is gonna be better than the actual starters, because the bench, they got all the young legs and they got all their shooters. The starting five of the Bulls is not The starting five of the Bulls can't shoot. So you got a guy that's trying to run motion offense, that's trying to run what Golden State is running, and you don't have the horses to do that. Then you're not really a demonstrative voice. Jimmy Butler like clowned you last season, and he wasn't that good of a college coach to me. The only reason he's in the league is because
to be honest, they felt kind of guilty about his heart condition.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it really is. What's Gar Forman, and this the same. This is like, remember Tim Floyd when he was the Bulls coach for a couple of years?
Yeah.
You know what? The main reason why Tim Floyd got that job is because he was Jerry Krause's boy, fishing buddy. You know the main reason that Fred Hoiberg got that job? Because he wasn't a good college coach to me. The main reason he got that coaching job, and they wanted to give it to him a year earlier, but he had that heart problem and he had to get it fixed. But believe me, he was going to be the coach a year earlier. But medical reasons. Gar Forman and him went to school. They're from the same. They went to Iowa State. Not together, but they went to Iowa State. There's a good old boy network there, and that's how he got that job. He didn't earn it; he just got it, and they wanted to give it to him. And Fred's always been like a professional. I'm not dogging him as a dude. I just don't think he's a good coach. And basically, and now, because this isn't like the Tyronn Lue situation where Tyronn Lue was giving the keys to a Ferrari and say, "Look, don't crash it into a wall." Mm-hmm. And you win a championship. Fred Hoiberg, and they won't, and the Bulls, Jerry Reinsdorf, as an owner, will not do this because he did it once and it failed. He's not going to let this team go really, really bad on purpose. Team is going to be competitive. And you got a bunch of headstrong veterans. Jimmy's a headstrong veteran now. D-Wade's a headstrong veteran. That's the OG. Right. In the NBA. So is Rondo. And Rondo, and you picked the perfect word for him. He's a curmudgeon. Yeah. We're gonna see how that motion offense is gonna work with the Bulls. We're gonna see how he does as a coach. But yeah, man, I think Minnesota, man, they got a gem of a coach, and just let him do what he does. They're probably gonna not only make the playoffs, but if they end up shocking the world and being in the semifinals or being in the conference finals because somebody got injured or because the Clippers aren't real or some craziness, I would not be surprised. Because I'm looking at what went on last year. There's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna take a step backwards. Yeah. And there's a perfect opportunity for Minnesota to just come in and be like, dun dun dun, here it is. But yeah. I don't think, because with the Spurs being as healthy as they are, I don't think they can beat the Spurs. And it's Golden State and the Spurs. Everybody else is going to take a step backwards. The Clippers, I don't trust the Clippers. Portland, good squad. OKC, I don't know. OKC might take a step backwards, but still shock people.
Man, they took a big step backwards. And they don't even have the same bench, and they didn't have a bench last year.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase. OKC took a step backwards, but OKC will still they might make the playoffs. Because the Rockets took a step backwards. Memphis is always going to be in the middle of the pack. But I just think Minnesota, man, is going to be, and then everybody else.
Memphis play that rec center game, man.
Yeah, they
like
do.
Dudes battling for a case of beer and some donuts.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is kind of like.
Cruller, I'm going to kill you.
Huh?
You don't have my cruller, I'm going to kill you.
Exactly. You said a case of beer and some donuts. That's awesome. But, I mean, there's so many. The Western Conference is like blah now. Yeah. KD going to Golden State, man. And, Dwight going to the East is like blah. You know what I mean? Like everybody, right. It's basically the two of them It's basically Golden State and the Spurs, and then everybody else.
Right.
So I truly think Minnesota is going to make the playoffs and do some things. So okay, we didn't do the East yet, right?
Well, no, we haven't did these yet.
Okay, so why don't you do your East?
Okay, my Eastern Conference Finals. It's going, and now we're almost certain that we're going to be wrong. So we're going to do like a half season.
Yeah,
we messed up.
Half season report card show.
Right, but my half season Eastern Conference Finals matchup is going to be the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Good pick, man.
Was that your pick?
That's a good pick, man. No, it wasn't. And actually, you're going to be surprised about my pick because of how bad I've talked about the coach.
Okay.
I think, because I honestly think they're just going to, if Hoiberg was smart, you listen to your veterans and you shut up and you just let them do what they do. But I think it'll be the Bulls in Cleveland.
Okay.
If everything goes well.
Now, would you want to step out on an ultra limb and pick the number of games and the winner of each series?
You mean the conference finals?
Yeah.
Okay, so
if you don't want to, that's cool.
No, I can, because we're probably gonna be wrong. I think defensively, because Hoiberg isn't that coach, I think if the Bulls make it to the conference finals, which I think they will, because I don't see anybody in the East doing anything. I think it's either going to be the top three teams are going to be Cleveland, Chicago, New York, to me. Everybody else is going to be like blah.
So you're saying Toronto's completely out of it?
I don't trust them.
Now, you know who I have as a dark horse to get into the top 5 teams?
Other than Boston?
No, like just a dark horse team. I just think that they're going to do all right this year.
Yeah.
Detroit Pistons.
That's not a bad pick at all. Hey, let me ask you something about the Pistons. Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's still there, right?
Yeah.
Is Brandon Jennings still there, or did they trade him?
No, I think they still got both of them.
Okay. If they're going forward, see, I like Stan Van Gundy as a coach. I really do.
You know what I like about him, man?
What?
He's always so. He's like the Michael Jordan of unhappiness. Hey, you ever want to get a kick out of something? You gonna have League Pass this year, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to get it on the Roku.
Okay. It's a way to get it on the Roku too.
Mm-hmm.
Watch as they introduce him.
Mm-hmm.
As they introduce him, they'll say, coach in his second year, Stan Van Gundy, and he'll just be sitting there like, why am I here? What did I do?
Yeah.
And it's funny to see, because the first time I saw him do it, it was in Orlando.
Yeah.
And, he didn't get along with Dwight Howard anyway. And he just was like, I hate my life. My brother has no hair and he's still happier than me.
Go ahead.
Our dad called us Fat Boy the whole time I was growing up. But anyway, it's just something weird to see. But it's very entertaining to me.
That dude, the fact that they even got to the playoffs last year was a freaking miracle, bro. And He did a wonderful job. I don't know how Reggie Jackson and Brandon Jennings are gonna coexist together. I don't. Now, I
And of the two, you know who I would let go of first?
Jennings.
I'd let go of Reggie Jackson.
Really?
He's not what that is. He's kind of. If you ever, I don't mean to take it here, but I am going to take it here. Have you ever dated a girl that wasn't like what? She was just average.
And thought she was bad?
No. Yeah, thought she was bad. And then she has that moment where you put her in the spotlight and she sees, oh, I'm just average. That's Reggie Jackson.
Yo, wow.
You know, and part of what made him so good was in OKC, people just needed a break from Russell Westbrook.
Right.
And it's like in football. If you got a scat back and then you got a power back, when the scat back comes in, because he's such a change of pace, he's going to look really good.
And everybody's tired from getting beat up by the power back.
Right. But, you know, I just really...
But see, you got the reason why I didn't put them as my team to watch is because I like them defensively. I like Detroit defensively. But I always have kind of the combo guard thing or the 2-point guard system that works well in Dallas and that works well in certain situations. Brandon Jennings and Reggie Jackson, they're guys that they want to be like the dude, and it's like having two Stephon Marburys at their peak on the same squad.
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is the way I feel. Brandon Jennings is the truth. He's just had like some weird injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think he's more the truth than
Reggie Jackson.
And that's just the way I feel.
So we both have similar opinions about two different guys. Like I get what you're saying, but I feel that way about Brandon Jennings.
Okay.
So, and I'm not saying Brandon.
I'm gonna ask you to hold out the season and actually watch Reggie Jackson when he's in for Detroit.
Yeah. I get what, bro.
What makes Detroit really good is the drumming kid.
Yeah.
He's a fucking animal. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I slipped once too. Go ahead.
He's an animal. He's an animal that hasn't been fed. Mm-hmm. You know?
Right.
He might just bite your face off.
Didn't they have two like 7-footers and they ended up letting one of them go to Milwaukee? Or did they get somebody from Milwaukee?
I think they got somebody from Milwaukee. But I can't remember who. But
Cause I really like their front court. Their front court was always,
and I mean they're going old school basketball. We're gonna have big guys in the middle, and the big guys are gonna do what they want to do. And I kind of like that, you know, because everybody's going to that small ball thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know you will have League Pass, I want to introduce a unique show idea. I want you to think about this, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to rate sideline reporters.
Oh no.
But that'll be another show.
Oh no. I have a feeling that depending on the teams, there's gonna be some interesting conversations.
Right.
All right, so you got Cleveland and Boston for the Eastern Conference, and I have Cleveland and Chicago. I think Cleveland will win that series in 6.
Okay.
I think one I the Eastern Conference is so like there's a lot of teams. There's teams that like I'm looking at the Heat and I'm like the Heat are not going to be third. I'm looking at Atlanta and I'm like Atlanta might be third, but it doesn't matter because they're Atlanta. Charlotte.
And you know what? I totally forgot about Wade being in Chicago, so I can see that.
Yeah, if everybody stays healthy, and Z, this is why because I'm glad you brought up the point earlier about Carter Williams. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody like Wade's gonna get hurt, or Wade's gonna have to rest. Carter Williams, for the Bulls to be successful, Hoiberg needs to shut up and just figure out how to manage the veterans.
All those different personalities.
Yeah, manage the veterans. Try not to get Rondo to where he wants to leave midseason.
Right.
Or if he does want to leave midseason, find a contender with some decent talent that can handle him and get something for him. Just pay it.
Right.
The Bulls front office needs to do that. Pay attention to things because I got tired of seeing last season. You know the writing was on the wall, but you're like, we're gonna keep this core together. Don't be stupid. If they do that and Fred just manages all them personalities, there's no reason why the Bulls shouldn't be in the conference finals. None. Because I don't see anybody on paper better than them right now. Miami took a step backwards. Atlanta's Atlanta. Boston might be, I got to look at Boston more, but I've always liked Boston. Milwaukee, if they get a point guard, they'll be a problem. So, but I still think those teams aren't better than the Bulls if everything lands properly. And Toronto to me is like the Eastern version of the Clippers.
Okay, they're not the truth. Okay, I get
you. Respect DeMar DeRozan. You know what I'm saying? Like the squad individually. I just don't think. I don't think they're the truth. They're the truth. I don't think they're real. And you put Charlotte and you put Washington because everybody
we didn't even speak about Washington. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, one of the top 3 backcourts in the league
when they're healthy.
And
when they're coached correctly.
Right.
And that's why I can't put them in the upper echelon because of health issues and coaching issues.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
but I don't see the talent that the Bulls got. If everything stays healthy, I don't see anybody beating them.
Okay. You ready for me to make my picks?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm picking the West now. No, I'm picking the East, the number of games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Cleveland, and it's going to be a tough. It's going to be one of them 6-game series that they thought went 7.
To where everybody's going to be tired. Cleveland's going to be really tired.
Yeah.
And
I honestly do not think that Dunleavy is going to do anything to improve the Cavaliers.
Yeah. What do you think about that, man? Because that was kind of like I don't even think he's going to play.
Can I speak truthfully?
Go ahead, man.
We had a guy that I went to high school with. His name was Darren Driver.
Okay.
All-around system kid, pitched a couple years for the Dodgers. But him and Dunleavy are the same to me.
Right.
If you play 4 sports and you're somewhat good at all of them, I really question your commitment to the one sport that pays you.
Dang.
Sorry, Darren. My boy. But so I don't think and a lot of the other sport outlets have been saying, "Oh, Dunleavy's gonna make them so much better."
I'll tell you this.
I
Dunleavy's not gonna play.
I would have respected it more if they had signed Mike Miller. I fear Mike Miller more than I do Dunleavy.
If David Blatt was still coaching, I would say, good move, Cleveland. Tyronn Lue ain't gonna play Dunleavy. Dunleavy doesn't defend. He's a jump shooter, which isn't bad. He's smart. He's really smart, and he actually was one of the guys for the Bulls that held that team together, and actually was a good force in the locker room. This ain't one of them situations. He's not gonna play because Tyronn Lue, even though he wants to go up and down too.
Right.
Tyronn Lue's a defensive coach.
Right.
Dunleavy's not a defensive player. He's not gonna play.
Okay.
Not in the playoffs. In the play,
Okay.
I guarantee you, he's not gonna play.
Now I'm gonna say this to the people out there: there's certain teams that we know, like people would know their girlfriends. Now
I'm gonna put my foot up and let's go.
My two teams that I know intimately well
Mm-hmm.
are OKC historically and Golden State historically. Your two teams that you know well are definitely, one of them's going to be Chicago.
Yes.
And then the other team might be the Clippers because you hate them so much.
They're just not real. So not real.
Right. So what you say about Chicago always resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to give you a heads up on something. We're running pretty tight on time, so you want to close it out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So no, I thought you had a point, man. I thought you had like a.
Well, my point was, I take what you say as like, if you say anything about Chicago, it resonates with me. So what you just said really resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you say he's not gonna play, then I probably think
Lou's not gonna play. Lou's not gonna play.
Right.
There's no, because there's gonna be guys. I guarantee you, there's gonna be guys that, because I watched Cleveland closely because they were always on TV. There were people that Blatt would have played, and Lou just was like, no. So Dunleavy would have to do something really, really special, or LeBron just says he's playing now. But if you leave it up to Lou's not gonna let him play because defensively he's a liability.
Okay.
So, but okay, man. So basically, we got Cleveland and we got Gold, because Cleveland's gonna beat. This is what happens when we do stuff from our houses. So we got, both of us probably got Cleveland going to the finals, and you have what? Golden State going to the finals. Both of us have Golden State going to the finals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who you got? You think Golden State's gonna like shock the world and beat the Cavaliers?
Yeah.
In 6, in 7, in 5.
Yeah, I think they're gonna shock the world, and I think Golden State is gonna get out of their series in 6 games, and it's gonna be one of those weird 6-game ones where the individuals, like, Golden State's gonna lose 1 game big, San Antonio's gonna win 1 game big.
Or Cleveland, you mean?
Well, we're picking the finals too?
Yeah. Well, I was just saying we're probably gonna both of us got Cleveland coming out the East, and both of us probably got Golden State coming out the West, right?
Right.
Okay. So, and you're saying it is probably were you saying it's gonna be one of those type of series with Golden State and Cleveland, or is Golden State just gonna run roughshod over everybody?
You know what? I don't know what the scores will be on that one because I'm gonna be honest with you, and we might not want to cover this, but I'm gonna say it. The referees make a big difference.
Oh yeah.
How the game is called makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's gonna be Golden State Warriors 4-1.
All right. That's our preview. That's our preview, and we're gonna do this often. We're gonna do marquee games every other day, at least twice a week, as I'm looking at the schedule. So, Ant, I want to thank you, man, and I will see you Tuesday, my brother.
All right. Happy NBA season.
Happy NBA season, everybody.
Almost lost it this summer with no sports.
You didn't catch the summer league, bro?
I tried to, but I was like, how many of these people are really gonna make rosters?
Like 3.
Yeah, so
So, but anyway, Pushing Wild Black out for my boy Anthony Joslin. Deuces, everybody.
Okay.
Hold on, bro, because